Welcome to the Essence of Life podcast, where we view life through the lens of learning rather than judging. Okay, so I'm back with another episode, and I am very, very excited because I love the response that I got from the last episode where we spoke about would I date me. And I love you guys so much for sharing your comments and your feedback. You need to understand that when you pride yourself in encouraging and inspiring others and you get the feedback that it actually works, it brings them that sort of satisfaction. And I am definitely feeling that satisfaction for all of you who have taken the time out to not just listen to the podcast, but actually give me some personal feedback about how it has impacted your life. I truly, truly treasure that because it gives me the encouragement to continue. I mean, whether or not you do it, I'll still continue. But just saying that your comments and your feedback help to continue to encourage me to do this podcast. I just want to give a shout out to those listeners that I have around the world. I mean, this is so exciting. I know I have a great percentage in Antigua, but I just want to mention Germany, Canada, Jamaica, the Netherlands, France, United Kingdom, and of course my beloved St. Lucia and Trinidad, Dominica, of course, the Caribbean. I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much for supporting and listening to and connecting with the Essence of Life podcast. I also want to say a special hi and a shout out to Sam here because she gave me her top list. Okay, she gave me a list of her top episodes, and I also appreciate that so much. So much. So today we're continuing with the series on relationships, romantic relationships to be exact. And do I have another lesson to share with you? Yes, I do. Okay, so this one is going to be, why do you want to be in a relationship? I like to ask you these questions because I want you to get thinking. I want you to do some soul searching and looking to yourself and try to figure out, okay, what's going on here, what's not going on there, and all of that good stuff. Okay, so you want to be in a romantic relationship. You've decided that you want to, or you're considering it, or you're thinking of it. I want to ask you this question. What is your motive? What is your reason? Why do you want to be in a relationship? Do you have a reason or multiple reasons? Is it because you're lonely? Is it because you want to join the quote-unquote age category where by this specific age, society tells you that you should be married already with kids? Are you trying to be a part of that status quo? Is it because everyone else is doing it in your age group or your friends around you? So you're feeling all the fuzz and you just want to experience it yourself? What is it? Is it for status? Is it for income? Is it for looks? Is it because your boyfriend looks extremely hot and you just want to make sure that he's yours forever? Because these are very important questions to ask yourself. Simply, why? Is it because of income? Is it because, hey, I don't think I could make it in this life. I need somebody to support me, so I need to get married to them. Why are you seeking after a romantic relationship? Okay, that is an interesting question I want you to ask, and I want you to search yourself and examine yourself deeply about it, because what I want you to know is, if that reason or reasons that you are seeking that relationship should for some reason no longer exist, what is going to happen to that relationship? What is going to happen if that reason is no longer relevant? Dr. Miles Monroe helped me to learn this lesson and to really see that it's integral for romantic relationships in a message that he shared when he spoke about so many things. But he also mentioned about rejection cannot devalue you if you know who you are. He says rejection cannot devalue you if you know who you are. And I was happy to hear that, because he basically reminded me of what I said in the last episode, which is, would you date me? Where I said, if you know your worth so well to an extent that your partner might be saying something to you that is hurtful, or they might be doing something to you that is hurtful, you in turn are not going to take it to the point where you're going to start eating ice cream, getting fat, hurting yourself because you love yourself so much that you'll be like, okay, you know what? I acknowledge what you're doing. It's all about you, but I'm still going to love me. So Miles Monroe basically just confirmed that in such a great way for us. And he says, again, rejection cannot devalue you if you know who you are. All right. And he also said something else. He said that if there is a reason, all right, if there is a reason for you wanting to be in a romantic relationship, you are setting it up to fail. So if you're saying, I love you because, or I love you whenever you do this, or I love you, if you behave that way, or I love it when you drive your car, or you understand what we're saying. If you are consistently finding a reason why you love the person, I love it when you cook me breakfast, or I love you when you make the lunch without me asking. Once you have these reasons, what you are placing in the relationship is something called a condition or conditions. And once you are placing conditions on your relationship, you are setting up a relationship for conditional love. So what happens if the person stops doing these things that you so love them for? What happens if their life status changes if you wanted to be with them because they are rich? What happens if their life status, starts testing you? For example, I'm married to a pastor, and a lot of women maybe, want to be married to a pastor because it seemed to be that level of thing that they want. But what happens when the battles come, the spiritual ones? Would you be able to handle it? And it is the same thing. When you are loving someone for specific reasons, you are creating something called conditions. And when you have conditions, the next word is going to be called expectations. You're going to expect the person to keep having these conditions around you. And when they don't have these conditions, guess what? Disappointment is going to come. What happens when that person no longer lives up to your expectation of them, which started simply from you having a reason, creating a condition for them, expecting them to follow through, and when they don't, you become disappointed. All right, this is a critical lesson that you should learn. If you are not yet in a romantic relationship, you need to make sure you get this. And if you are already in one, you need to examine and change this. All right, there are multiple times when my husband didn't do the things that I expected him to do, and it did not change the way I love him. It did not change how I feel towards him, because at the end of the day, he's only human. He's going to make mistakes, and it's the same thing for me. It doesn't change, and that is what we need to understand. Miles Monroe gave us an even deeper example where he says that God, which is the essence of love, as I call him, God, the greatest source of love, he never gave us a reason why he loved us. He said, God so loved the world, so he gave his only begotten son. And then he invites us to love as he loves us. I mean, we need to understand God didn't give us conditions for his love for us, because I'm telling you, if God had to give us conditions, oh my goodness, I don't think any of us would ever make it. Okay, and this is what we need to understand. We need to love as God loves us. That is what he's asking us to do, to love as he loves us. And that requires us understanding that our romantic partner, our husband, our wife, or boyfriend, the person we're dating and looking forward to a lifetime with, things are going to change. Conditions are going to change. A once sexy person is going to have saggy boobs or a big stomach someday. And if that is your reason for being with them and it changes, where is your love going to be? We are not gearing up for a romantic relationship based on conditional love, but we want the unconditional love that God gives us. And this is the lesson I would like to share with us today. So if you are already in a romantic relationship, ask yourself, do I have reasons which leads to conditions, which leads to expectations, and then further disappointment? Or do I love my partner despite of? Do I love my partner because I love my partner. Okay, and if you are already there, or you're single, whatever level you're on, this lesson can work for you. If we are on a place that we need to change, then we change it. All right, if we are not yet there, then we prepare ourselves so when we get there, we can deal with it. I don't want to keep you too long. I just want to thank you so much for connecting with the Essence of Life podcast with me, and I look forward again to hearing your feedback. Please continue to share the podcast with your friends and your family that you believe will benefit from these lessons. All right, c'est bon, sounds good.